Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies. And this is Why Don't We Succeed by Frater Ernest W. Blase, F.R.C. An article from Rosicrucian Digest, Volume 16, Number 1, February 1938. Why Don't We Succeed by Frater Ernest W. Blase, F.R.C. While I was walking down the street this rainy day, a heavy dump truck came to a stop right at the place where the alley ran into the street, and I recognized and greeted the driver and owner, a one-armed man. What was left of the other arm had a shiny metal hook at its end. This man, from all appearances, was in fair circumstances and made his living hauling. This in spite of his limitations. Like this man, others by the thousands, having similar limitations, succeed, while we, with no physical limitations, fail. What is the reason for this? We fail for the reason that we never seem to learn, in spite of the fact that, throughout nature, examples are given momentarily. As students of Rosicrucian teachings through our beloved order AMORC, we should succeed where others fail, if for no other reason than this. We are taught all of the fundamentals of nature to begin with, and all of the reason for things expressing themselves as they do, right before our very eyes. And this should leave no doubt or hindrance in the way of our making a success in life. Furthermore, in the very beginning of our work, we are given the most simple lessons. And possibly this is one reason why so many of us fall down right at the beginning and never seem to recover thereafter. As for those who have stick-to-itiveness, certainly they finally wake up. Come, let us reason together. All presentations in nature, all that are apparent to us, were, from the very beginning, intended as object lessons. For example, the bird in flight for thousands of years suggested to man the possibilities of flight, hence the airplane. Birds and reptiles which swam upon the waters suggested to man boats and ships. The old wise adage, as in heaven so on earth, was not merely an idle saying. Everything we behold has its original in heaven, and while we may argue as to what is meant by heaven in this article, we will have it mean this: a sphere in which all idealism exists. We may liken our lives here on earth to a kindergarten. From the kindergarten, we enter the primary grades of school. From these, we graduate and enter high school. From there is no end to higher schools of learning. So striking on an average, what do we have? A school where, on earth, for what purpose? To learn. To learn what? The lessons of life. And some make the necessary effort to learn. The hunchback goes his way and in spite of limitation, succeeds. The seemingly poor woman with one arm sells papers for sale for years on the street corner, in all kinds of weather. A one-armed man who I know runs a very successful coffee route upon which he serves hundreds of customers, and he succeeds where others, with two whole arms and hands, fail. This same man raised a family and finally purchased a beautiful home costing around $15,000. But he had personality, was always full of pep, cheerful, and never knew what it meant to be a quitter. The magic key. Some years ago, when a number of us attended an advanced Rosicrucian class, a member who was a physician and who came up through 2 schools of medicine made the following statement during the discussion period: I find that much that I have learned must now be unlearned. What the Rosicrucians had taught him was so far in advance of what the colleges taught him regarding fundamental principles, that, in this sense, what he said was true. As students of our teachings, we face questions from those who are not members. For example, I was asked, why do there have to be so many kinds of people, so many different races, creeds, and colors? I replied, all of these are the polishing stones that someday will reveal the diamonds of our souls. We face criticism too. Often we have to face acquaintances who know that we are Rosicrucians, and we know what they are thinking about when we are in their presence or at other times. They may be saying something to themselves. I can't see where so and so is any better off today than he was some years ago. In fact, I think that he is not getting anywhere. And this very thought comes to us members every now and then. And all the while I am writing, I want all of you to know that I am including myself in the picture for the reason that I have had these same experiences. For past education, past environment, all, including the American mind, have too often taught us to obtain our objectives the easy way. That makes us lazy. We want to climb the celestial heights too quickly. We want the secret word or the secret golden key right now, and without any sincere, altruistic efforts on our part. How absurd. Come, let us repeat what I have said and be honest with ourselves. Let us look at ourselves as though standing before a mirror where we can see ourselves as we are. Ready all together. I want to obtain all of these things with the least effort on my part. How preposterous, I say. Now let us speculate on what the self behind the image would say. You, brother or sister, have the audacity to look me in the eye and say that you are a Rosicrucian. I say, if that is how you want to attain it, if that is how shallow you think the teachings are, or what a Rosicrucian is, you will never be given the key or ever know the way, the truth, the light. Every now and then I run into persons of both sexes who are still traveling from movement to movement, from group to group, seeking. In most cases, I find them wanting the magic key right now. They go from one false messiah to another and pay with gold and silver as if the magic wand could be bought. The fact of the matter is, we don't want to face our real selves at any time. We detest pulling the mask off our faces. And this reminds me of the days when we went to the masquerade balls. Remember how funny, how hideous most of us looked while dressed in masks? And wasn't it a grand and glorious moment when we took off our mask and beheld our friends or our sweethearts as they should be, without their mask? Come, let us reason more in line with the keys given us by Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Let us peep into the Hall of Fame and speculate as to whether or not these men forged to the top with ease. Amenhotep IV, Pythagoras, Aristotle, Newton, Bacon, Socrates, Zoroaster, Confucius, and in fact all of the great minds, including also Madame Blavatsky, all of the personalities who left footprints on the sands of time, all of the great masters attained through altruistic worthiness alone. They were continually tried and tested periodically in the larger sense of the word, while on the other hand we should recognize the fact that through nature we are being tried and tested momentarily. Some years ago there was a song called Me and My Shadow. Likewise, our real selves can never be escaped from. Whether in hell or heaven, awake or sleeping, the self persists. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's tear off the mask. Let's be ourselves. And we can only do this by again becoming like unto little children in the kindergarten of life. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.